Hi everybody, Keith Best here, and in this video I'm going to give you an overview of how to create your first Magic Page Plugin Evergreen site. The Evergreen site is really important because once you have a good Evergreen site, you can then deploy a number of Magic Page plugin sites, whether they are your main site you want to do or the single niche PBNs. You can deploy them very quickly. We've got lots of information about like sort of how to do different things inside the MPP user guide, obviously on my YouTube channel, on Mike's YouTube channel, on keithbest.com. But lots of people wanted more of a graphical overview. So I've created this graphical overview here, which I'm going to give you guys. And I've also decided that, as some people like video to learn from, that I will do a video of this graphical overview as well, which will give it to you from like all angles, so to speak. So what we're going to cover is basically 4 steps. Build an evergreen site, deploy your main lead generation site, deploy your single niche PBNs, and then we're going to even have a look at linking from your single niche PBNs. So first off, build an evergreen site. So once you pick your niche out, you need to build a good quality website. This is going to become your evergreen site. Take your time with it. Don't rush it, because once it's built, you only have to do it once, and then you can deploy it lots of times. Okay, you might tweak it as you learn new things, as you come up with other ideas. You might think this doesn't work, that doesn't work, whatever. But your first one, it needs to be a good quality site. Okay, so buy a domain or use a subdomain. It doesn't really matter, because this is your evergreen site. You can't build your evergreen site on the first site you're going to actually build. It's entirely up to you how you do it. So either buy a domain to build it on, or just build it on a subdomain of something else, because this is your evergreen site. Obviously, your domain needs to be hosted and you need to have WordPress on. Then you will install all of your regular plugins and, of course, the Magic Page plugin. I would say keep your plugins to a minimum so that you have, I tend to keep under 10 plugins. I don't like having lots of plugins. The more plugins you have, the more chance you're going to get hacked. And obviously, the more it's going to slow your site down. So keep your plugins to a minimum. The next thing you need to do is go into your Magic Page, create a page, and then go in and actually create some X fields. And you will see that this is highlighted in blue, and that means that's a link, and that will go to the actual video, which will show you how to create X fields. And what you want to do is you want to create these X fields. X fields are basically just short codes. It's just the way we've named it is X fields for short codes, okay? And you want an X field for anything that might change on your site. So things like your company name, your phone number, your email, that type of thing want to be put in an X field. Because then what you can do throughout of your site, you can put this short code in this X field, and then basically on your next site, all you need to do is change it. Now, if that's on 20, 30, 40 different positions throughout your site, you only change it in one place. You change it in the X field, and then basically it filters through to your whole site, which is why we use the X fields, because they're really good for being able to change things on the fly. Next thing you need to do is get content for your site. Now, when you've analyzed your niche, you should have had a look and you should have seen, right, okay, this is what my competitors got, so therefore this is what I need. So when you're building your site, I'm going to go more in depth to it, but you're going to need obviously a home page, 3 or 4 service pages or more, obviously a contact and your privacy policy. That's your bare minimum site. So you're going to need content for that. So the best place to get that is obviously Page Rewriter, because that's going to give you the content which is already ranking on page 1 for the areas you're building. And then obviously you build your base site. So as I said, your base site needs to have a home page. It needs to have 3, 4, I've got there 5 service page, a contact page, and you should have your privacy policy page. I just didn't put that on the diagram. Now, if you've got 5 pages, service pages, then basically your home page should have content on about each one of them. And you want to have round about 250, 300 words about each one. So if you've got 250 words, there you've got 1,250 words of content on your homepage just by mentioning each of your service pages. Now on your homepage, you can obviously link to those service pages from within that content. Anything on your homepage which references a city or a town name needs to be replaced with the shortcode location. This is a Magic Page shortcode and its location. And what will happen is on your homepage or the service pages, that will be given the location of your main location, what you set up in Magic Page when you were ready to deploy the site. So if this was a locksmith site in Manchester, then basically I would have location, and basically that would be Manchester. That would be replaced as Manchester. If we go to another page on the Magic Pages, which says Oldham, then location would be converted into Oldham. As I mentioned, all reference to your phone numbers, your company name, your email, and anything else you put in the X fields, they need to have the X field shortcode put in there, what you've created, so that basically, again, if you decide to change that for the next site, or you change your company name or something like that, it's quite easy just to change it in the one place under the X fields, and it populates throughout the whole of your site. Somewhere on the site, on the home page, you also need to have the city's shortcode. So the city shortcode, what this does is once you have your Magic Page up and you've added your central location, this will display at its base level the 10 closest locations to that location that you're currently on. So again, if you're on Manchester, then the Manchester page could display something like sort of Oldham, Stockport, and other areas around the Manchester area. So you want that on, because what that also does is that then when Google visits your homepage, it then sends it spiraling off down all of these links. Now, of course, when it goes from your homepage and down to one of your Magic Pages, which is what the city shortcode is actually linking to, on that page, you will also have the city shortcode, which will then be displaying the 10 closest links to that location. So as I said, Manchester will have 10 links on, which would be like Oldham, Stockport, and other areas around there. Now, if we click on Oldham, that will then show Oldham, and that will obviously have like sort of Stockport and another lot of areas around there. And so basically, that is how you get your Magic Pages indexed, because Google goes down them and actually traverses all of these links to find all of your Magic Pages. If you don't put the city shortcode on, Google's not going to know that you've got Magic Pages on there. Okay, so the city shortcode is important that you have it on your home page as a minimum. Obviously, if you want to, you can put it on your service pages as well. I tend to do that. I'll have it on my service pages as well as my home page, so that basically I'm making sure that Google is always crawling my site and all the way through. Okay, now you've got your website built. So you've got your main website built. Now what we do is we create our Magic Page. Now your Magic Page can be a copy of your home page, which is what I tend to do because I'm a bit lazy like that. But I've already put the time and effort in to build a decent home page. It's a landing page basically, and it's got reference to all of my service pages. And again, my Magic Page is going to have references to all of the service pages. Now with your Magic Page, the best thing to do is when you are linking to your service pages is have the links actually spun. If you create 500 like sort of Magic Pages, or 200 or 100 or whatever, what you don't really want is 100 pages pointing to service page 3, which says service page 3. So it could be like Locksmith Manchester, Locksmith Manchester, Locksmith Manchester. That wouldn't look so good. So what you could have is like Locksmith Manchester, Auto Locksmith Manchester, Manchester Locksmith. So you spin them around so you've got variation as you're going use all your different keywords and things like that. And it will help service page 3 or whichever your service pages rank for them other keywords as well. Just as on your home page, all your reference to your city, town names need to be like short codes. They are using the short code location. All your phone numbers, email, and company names want to be using the relevant X fields. And again, as with your home page, you want to have the city short code on your Magic page so that basically Google, when it visits one Magic page, it goes away and visits all of the other ones as well, because it's just link and your whole site is then going to get traversed by Google. That's your Magic page build. So a bit of an idea for a content template. Each one is your target keyword, locksmith Manchester. Obviously, you can put something underneath that and make it all jazzy. But then your services, that one's been H2. So locksmith Manchester could be broken key. Yeah. Locked out of house could be service 2. They want to be H2s. So the H2s are your service one, which is the secondary keywords, what you are actually targeting. So the service is what you are targeting. So that the H2 service 1 wants to be your keyword. Okay. And then you want a paragraph of around about 250 words. And obviously you're going to link to that service page with spun anchor text. Same with service 2, same with service 3, same with service 4 and 5 and 6 and however many services you got. Obviously, you can also have other information on there. You can have images on there. You can have videos on there, all of that sort of thing. But that is your basic layout of what you want for content-wise. Okay, so now we've built our evergreen site. So we've got our home page, we've got our service pages, we've got our Magic page on, and we've got all the content in how we like it. And we take a look at it and we say, yep, I'm proud of that site. It's a good site. I think it will convert. So what we're going to do now is we're going to back it up. How you back it up is entirely up to you. I like to use Updraft Plus, and also like sort of Zaggio is a good way to back it up. What you want to be able to do is deploy this as easily as possible. So back it up somewhere out of the way so you know where it is, and you can now just build with it. Like I say, you might come down the road, you might build this site out and you might think, oh, I should have put this in, oh, I should have put that, oh, I should have put the other in. If you do, change it on your evergreen site. That site will then always be moving forward with the new stuff, what you're putting on. So when you come to deploy it again, your new site will have these new changes in. Now you need to deploy your site. Okay, so you've got this site built. You now put it on your domain, which could be locksmithmanchester.co.uk, whatever. It's on the domain. You now go in and you install the regional database that you want. Go into the page, install database, and it will install. Once the database is installed, I come back to my Magic page and select my central location. So I type in Manchester. Once I've selected the central location, I will determine the radius. That will determine how many locations I'm going to build. Now, if you're starting out and you're new to all this, then keep it below 100 locations, because obviously you need to have really good content. You need to know what you're doing if you're going to start and build bigger sites. Start small. You can always build the site bigger later on. Okay, but start small so you get an understanding of what you're doing. Don't try and just eat the whole elephant in one go. You eat the elephant one bite at a time. Use the auto install locations function. It's there for a reason. If you have a site which has gone from 0 to having 200, 300, 100 pages on, Google's going to look at that and think, well, that's not quite normal. Most sites will start out as a home page and a few service pages, and maybe it's a bit more, but that's it. Most sites don't automatically come in the first day with 100 pages all on them already. Okay, so the auto install function will basically build the site out over 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, depending on how many locations you're building, will depend on how far you need to go with that. I normally stick with 30 days, so it's building usually around about 3-4 pages a day. So that looks natural to Google. That's it. Your website is now set up and ready to go. Now what you need to do is leave it. Forget about it for a month. Let it build out and just forget about it. Don't keep putting it into site, doing site colon and seeing how many pages are indexed and stuff like that. It takes Google time to come around and actually find your site for the first thing. And then it takes it time to build it out. Don't put it in Google Analytics yet. Don't do anything like that. Leave it and forget about it for the next 32, 33 days. Let it build out and just leave it. While you're waiting, of course, you can go buy some more domains, and then basically you can actually put them out again and again and again and again. So you could put a domain out a day if you wanted. And by the end of the month, obviously, by the time this first site's done, you're going to have 30 other sites already on the go. Okay, so just forget about this one now and just let it build. I've just put a bit of a note down here for those who are new to Magic Page. The Magic Pages are what's called dynamic pages. So they don't show up in your pages and posts section because they are only built as and when they are required. So somebody finds you in the search engines, and the first time that somebody finds you and they click on your link, that page then is displayed and it's there. Then what happens is that page is then cached, and the next time somebody picks on it, that page is then displayed very quickly because it's already been cached. The one thing what you can find is you might make some changes to your Magic Page, and then you go and look at it and it's like, well, that hasn't changed. Now what you can do is go into the settings page of Magic Page and delete the spin text cache, and then basically it will display. I just thought I'd put that note in just so people understand that they are dynamic and they are not static pages. So now we've got our main site is now building. So now we've picked some other areas where we're going to build some other sites. These are our single niche PBNs. These are the sites which are going to link to our main money site to give it a bit more power. Now, these can be expired domains, it can be new domains, it doesn't really matter. Expired domains do work a little bit better, especially if they've got good links, but you can still get some nice linking from a brand new domain. Single niche PBNs, as it says, are simply more lead gen sites which are in the same industry, and they are there to make you money. They're not just there just as like sort of normal PBNs, what people put up are there just for the link juice, really. These want to be making you money as well. So basically, you're going to build them the same. And the beauty about this is it is dead easy to do because you've got your evergreen site. So how do we do it? You buy a domain and you put it on a host. You add WordPress, and then all you need to do is use whichever way you are restoring it, either Zaggio, Updraft Plus, or all-in-one WordPress backup, or whatever it's called, and you restore your evergreen site from your backup. You then install your regional database. So if I've got a Manchester site already up, which is the one I've just put up, which is my main money site, this might be an Oldham site. So I'll install the same location, the same regional area, which will be the Northwest. Once that's installed, I'll go in, I will pick my location, which will be Oldham, pick my radius, and then I'll do exactly as I did before, select auto install, set for 30 days, and then I'll go back to step one, buy a domain host. Like I say, you could do one of these a day if you wanted. So by the end of the month, you've now got 30 sites up and running. Now, I know somebody's going to say, what about hosting? Because like I say, I've got buy domain and hosted. Do I need 30 different hosts? No. With these single niche PBNs, these PBNs, or the way I build my PBNs, I build them so they're all branded the same. So if I'm doing locksmith, they would all be Besties Locksmiths. Okay, they would all be branded the same. Now, if Coca-Cola's got like sort of 20 or 30 different sites, because of the different countries and the different things like that, what they're in, are they going to have them all on different hosts? No, because they're all the same brand. It would not make sense to have them on different hosts. And because we are dealing with sort of local areas, you don't need to have 30, 40, 50 sites linking to you, or you shouldn't need to have 30, 40, 50 sites linking to you to actually get you on page one. Okay, so you should only need 3, 4, 5 maybe to get you on page 1. So therefore, it's not so much to actually where Google's going to look and think, oh, he's got 30 or 40 sites there, he's gaming the system. But really, you've got 5 sites which are all branded the same. So to Google, you're not. And these are all proper lead gen sites, or proper sites to Google looks at them, because they are genuine money sites. So basically, it's less likely that Google is going to penalize them. They're not just got one post on and, you know, look crappy and things like that. They have built with like a proper site. We've followed the things. Now, one thing obviously you can do, if you do want to have them on separate IP addresses, and then is basically just use Cloudflare, stick them up on Cloudflare, and that will give them a different IP address. But don't overthink it. Okay, so now we look at linking from your single niche PBNs. So we've built our first site out, and say we built 3, 4 more sites. We don't want a link from our single niche PBNs until they have been indexed in Google. If Google indexes them, then basically they are good sites. If after 30 days you've got no pages indexed in that site, then I would leave it and just work with some other sites. If after 30 days you've got 2 pages indexed in that site, it's still a good site. Okay, it's got some pages indexed. After 30 days, I would expect you to have more. If you've got good content on, your meta titles and meta descriptions are unique, you will have more than like sort of 2 pages indexed. But make sure that your pages are indexed before you start linking from them to your main money site. How many you'll need is dependent on competitive niche. Like I said, you know, something like locksmith, lawyers and things like that are very competitive niches, so you're going to have them. If you've got something like, I don't know, somebody's making cakes and things like that, then that's probably not as competitive. You don't need to build all your single niche PBNs at once, and it's probably like sort of better that you don't. It's better to spread them out a bit, and you don't need to build them all 2 levels deep or 3 levels deep or 4 levels deep, anything like that. You can mix and match it up, and I'll go further into this as we go down. So this is your main linking thing, your structure, okay? So you'll have a main site, you'll have single niche PBN1, and then single niche PBN 1A will link to 1, and 1B will link to 1, and then you'll have single niche PBN 2 with 2A, 2B linking to it, and 3 with 3A, 3B linking to it, and 4A linking to it. Like I said, you don't need to build these all at once. So we might build our main site the first month, and we might do single niche PBN 1 a couple of days after that. So the first site is built, the main site gets built, and it's just sitting there for a couple of weeks while we wait and find out what's happening with PBN 1. While we're waiting for PBN 1, we now start building PBN 1A, 1B, and then we start linking them together. Then we might add PBN 2, PBN 3, PBN 4, and then start linking to them as well. I think I'll go into it in a bit more detail in the next couple of slides. Yep, here it is. If we look at this on a time scale, like I say, it's not a definitive. It's don't like sort of say, well, Keith says I've only got to build 3 domains out, and you know, it will all depend on what your niche is and how well. It also depends on how much money you've got and how much time you've got to build these all up. This is just a guideline. So say in month 1, we've decided, right, I'm going for locksmith, and I'm going to buy locksmith Manchester, locksmith Oldham, and locksmith Stretford or somewhere like that. Like I say, there can be a combination of new or expired domains. It doesn't really matter which way you decide to go. Now we've built our evergreen site, so we deploy it on the main site and onto, so we deploy it on locksmith Manchester, locksmith Stretford, and locksmith Oldham. We now let them build over a month. Okay, we forget about them, we go do something else. All of these sites are now built out. So you've got 3 sites. I add them to Google Analytics. That's up to you whether you do or not. But the reason I add them to Google Analytics is because I can then see what's happening with them sites. I can do a check to see if they actually, the sites are indexed. And if they all are, that's good. But I still leave them now for another couple of weeks to let me Google Analytics kick in so I can start and get some data on them. I buy 3 more domains, which is going to be like sort of another 3 areas around the Manchester area, and I build them out. And now I'm going to let them build over a month. So this is what it looks like if you haven't used site colon and your domain name. This is what you should get. Okay, so you've got like there about 263 results. So Pest Control Clearwater has got 263 pages indexed in Google. Now, obviously, you might have 10, you might have 50, you might have whatever. It doesn't really matter. So long as you've got a number there and you've got your homepage here, that's a good site and you can use it to link out to. So now if we look at month 3, so we've got our main site, PBN1, PBN2 are underway, and I've been in Google Analytics. So I've got some data on them now. PBN3, 4, and 5 are all built out as well. So now I add 3, 4, and 5 to Google Analytics. So in a couple of weeks' time, I can get some data off them. So now when I've looked, I've decided, okay, I'm going to link PBN1 and PBN2 to my money site because they are indexed and I have got some data. Google will let me know that these are being put into the search results pages because it'll tell us which ones are being put into for what keywords. So I've got a good idea about them. I then go and buy 6, 7, and 8 PBNs and deploy my Evergreen site onto them as well. So I've now got 8 sites which are all nicely building out. I've just got a note down here. If I am linking from an Oldham site to my Manchester site, then the chances are the Oldham site will have a magic page which is for Manchester. So in that case, I will link from the Manchester magic page to the Manchester site. So say PBN2 is an Oldham site, it's got a Manchester page on, then I'm going to link from the Manchester magic page to the Manchester site. If PBN1 is, I've built that in Wakefield, then if I built in a 20-mile radius of Wakefield, it's not going to reach Manchester. So it's not going to have a Manchester page on. In that case, then what I will do, I will then just put some content on there, which will basically say that if you are in Manchester, we have a site there, and I will use like sort of Locksmith Manchester or Manchester Locksmiths or whatever my keyword is as the link. So the hyperlink wants to be your keyword. Your text wants to be whatever you're targeting. Obviously, if it's PBN2, your link text will actually be like sort of, again, Manchester. Don't have them all as Manchester Locksmith, Manchester Locksmith, Manchester Locksmith. Do vary them up a bit as well. So like sort of have Manchester Locksmith, Locksmith Manchester, so that you're getting, it's looking natural to Google. Everything's got to look natural to Google. So make sure your link text is like sort of natural. On a site that has got a magic page for the location, use the magic page. On a site that hasn't got a magic page for the location, use the home page, put some text around it so that the link, what you're getting, is contextual and relevant to the site. So if we now look at month 4, PBNs 3, 4, and 5 have all been built out for over a month. They've all had Google Analytics put on. And when I've looked, PBN3 has not been actually indexed. So I've just thought, okay, just leave that to one side and see what happens with that in another month. And if like it doesn't index, then I'm not bothered. I'll just get rid of it. When it comes up for renewal, I just won't bother renewing it. But now when I've had a look at Google Analytics, I noticed that PBN2 is actually starting to push up a little bit. Maybe it's PBN2 is on page 2 for Locksmith Oldham. So I think, okay, I wouldn't mind pushing that up actually onto page 1. So I will send a link from PBN5 with the keywords Locksmith Oldham, because PBN5 could be in the Oldham, the northwest area, and it has an Oldham page on it, magic page. So I would use the Oldham magic page to send a link to the Oldham site. So it's all relevant links what's coming through. It's getting a link from a locksmith site, and it's from the same location as where it's supposed to be. So that is like very, very relevant link. It's not getting a link from some random site which just has the anchor text of Locksmith Oldham. This is relevance, and Google is all about relevance. But then I might decide I still want to push my main site up again for Locksmith Manchester. It's not quite where I wanted. So I've now decided to use PBN4 to link to the site as well. And this will have, again, we'll have a different anchor text on. I could have like sort of Auto Locksmith Manchester or something like that. All this juice is running into my main site. Even PBN5, because I'm powered up PBN2, that makes PBN2 more powerful, which means the link from PBN2 is more powerful for my main site. Everything is working together to push this main site up. Then as time goes on, I can just keep linking and linking and linking to these different sites and working out. And of course, as I'm doing that, I'm building more and more a bigger network of sites. And because I'm building a bigger network of sites, that means these sites will be generating leads, which means I can then sell these leads, which means I make more money, which means I build more sites, and that's the way it goes. And that's basically it. We start from a single site. We build a single site, a normal standard business website with a home page, service pages, and then let's go back. We want a home page and our service pages, and then we add the magic page. That is then saved away as our evergreen site. When that's saved, we can then deploy that onto as many other domains as we want. I can build a site now from scratch, from buying it, creating a video for it, getting it hosted, the whole lot in probably just over an hour. So like I say, it's quite easily feasible for anybody to be able to do one of these sites a day. So you could have 30 sites up in a month. And if you can do 30 sites around an area of, say, like Manchester or something like that, you know, you could take over the whole of the Northwest. And obviously, you're going to start generating leads, which you're going to be able to sell, or you can rent these sites out, whichever way you want to go. But they are your assets, and you can build them as and when you need them because you've took the time to build an evergreen site, which is effective. Okay, guys, hope that was helpful. Catch you on the next video. Bye.